Shakespeare Theatre, Stratford, will you please welcome Jasper Carrott?
The Royal Shakespeare Theatre, eh? I've always wanted to be a thespian, you know. Oh, I know all the old Shakespearean classics. I know them by heart, you know. A rose by any other name is still a rose. Death, where is thy sting? You can't get quicker than a quick fit fitter. Just they reckon, you know, they reckon that Shakespeare didn't write the plays. It was Francis Bacon. Have you read about that? Me English. Yeah, they reckon that Bacon wrote all the Shakespeare plays. It's good. Well, I don't know. I mean, if he did, this would be the Royal Bacon Theatre, wouldn't it? It'd be in Bacon country. Hamlet would be Danish bacon. Stratford. I haven't been here for ages. It's changed since the last time I was there. I can't believe all the Americans out there. It's like Vietnam. Don't they rip the tourists off here? God, I couldn't believe it. I thought, flaking or a villa in Marbella. But I'm staying in a fabulous hotel, and, well, of course, I can't tell you which one it is. All the women come round afterwards and try and... But I'll give you a hint. It's called the Alveston Manor. Yeah, fabulous towels, great big fluffy fleecy towels. I can hardly close my suitcase. Somebody's trying to buy Birmingham City again. They must be off the topper, mustn't they? I mean, like, it's a secret. They won't say who it is. I reckon it's Sketchless. The last bloke to try and buy was Richard Branson. Yeah, I mean, no wonder he tried to kill himself in a balloon, but... He tried to buy Birmingham City, and part of the deal was, you know, get this, part of the deal was that the players ran round the pitch with Virgin written on the shirts. Hey, they've never scored in their lives, and they got Virgin. Mind you, it's the pits in the third division. I've got to admit that. I mean, it's taken us 102 years to get there, but we finally made it. I went to a game after Christmas, and I said to the bloke standing next to me at half-time, "Oi!" They had the cameras there. They had to fake a riot between the police and St John's ambulance men. And I've got to tell you this. They've got this new lottery ticket at Birmingham. It's called the Golden Goal, right? And you buy this ticket, it's about 25p, and you open it up, and there's a time in the ticket. And if the time is the same as the goal that Birmingham score first, you win 500 quid, right? So I bought this ticket, I opened it up, and it got October in it. I've thrown it away, there's no chance, is there? I mean, I wouldn't mind, but the Villa are doing so well. Oh, I thought you might be in, you. The Villa, eh? Up the Villa, Jasp. Yeah, right up the Villa. Villa. See, it's two syllables, you know, Birmingham City. What bloody chance have they got of supporting me? What else was I? I was doing loads of news a few months ago. I was doing all that Ken Dodd business. I was doing half an hour on Ken Dodd. And what a lawyer he had. He could get Stevie Wonder a driving licence. He's got 2 new Diddy men, you know, Diddy Pay and Diddy L. Good old Doddy, eh? Good old dude. They're called Doddies in the business now, you know. Do you want some Doddies? It's taken over from Pigots, you know. Ah, dear. I've just come back from Spain. Have you? Yes. I flew out from East Midlands Airport. Have you ever used East Midlands Airport? Isn't it quaint? It's a nice Diddy airport, isn't it? It's the only runway I've seen with a cattle grid. They've got air traffic control. It's a bloke with a megaphone. Get out the bloody road! And I flew on this knackered airline. I can't tell you which one it is, obviously, but like, I walked across to get on the plane and the pilot was kicking the tyres. Said, yeah, should get us there. Hey. They're trying to jump lead it from a Vauxhall Viva, you know. I got on the plane, they took the steps away and the plane fell over. They had this air hostess with a sense of humour. It's unique, isn't it? I said, what time do we get in? She said, I don't know, we've never made it yet. We started off down the runway and I thought we're never going to bloody take off here. I looked out the window, we're on the M1, you know. Stopped up at the services for the Vimto and the wagon wheel, you know. Stratford. Hey. I was just rounding about the town today. I saw loads of kids wearing flares. They're coming back, aren't they? Flares are coming back. I don't believe that. I mean, well, I can. I gave all mine away about 6 months ago, you know, I can believe. I gave them all to help the aged in Knoll. See all these old age pensioners wandering around the high street looking like the Bay City Rollers, you know. The police keep doing them for drugs and all they can find are Steradin tablets. There is this nostalgia going on for the 60s and 70s. It's been going on a while, isn't it? It's getting on my nerves. 'Cause I lived through the decades. I know what a load of tosh they were, you know. Well, it's a fact. I mean, like, things always look good in hindsight. I mean, in the 60s, everybody was going like, poor, weren't the 40s great? Oh, buzz bombs, death, rickets, wonderful. I've still got my Italian pinstripe suit, you know, from the 60s, you know, with a little tight bum freezer jacket and those incredibly tight drain pipe trousers. I've got ridiculously thin legs. I used to walk around like a 2-pin plug, you know. With them big winkle pickers on each foot, you know, immense winkle pickers, like, and used to queue up outside the Locarno to get in. The queue was about a mile long, you know. There's only 4 of you in it, you know. You get all the smart asses coming up to you in the street, you know. Do your feet go all the way to the end of them shoes, sonny? No, constable. Does your head go all the way to the top of that helmet? Oh, how we laughed in the cells, eh? I remember that. Because it was the permissive age. That's what everybody's interested in, you know. I mean, it was like, you know, it was sex orgies and lovings. What were they like, Jasper? Hey. I saw sod all in Acock's Green, I tell you, I don't know if that happened. We're so naive in the 60s. If you went to a sex orgy, you wouldn't know what the hell to do. You know, you pop your zits and that'd be about your lot, wouldn't it? I mean, the pill came out in the 60s. Nobody had a clue what to do with it. I took it myself for 6 months. Then I found out you had to take it orally. I thought, oh, no. You try sticking one of them down your willy, it's no joke. It kept me celibate, I remember that. We were so naive, nobody knew anything about it, because sex was called it in the 60s. Are you getting enough of it? There was all these facts and figures and that you read about in the papers, like 70% of women in the 60s preferred a night out in a restaurant to a session in bed. I know. I went out with every damn single one of them. I can tell you. The classical article of the 60s where this woman claimed that women got more of a sexual thrill on the back of a motorbike than they did between the sheets. And so to get it on in the 60s, you had to get your girlfriend on the mattress and blast her with a hairdryer and hurl dead insects into her face. That didn't work either. I know. We're supposed to be into drugs as well, eh? Nobody had a clue. Nobody could tell the difference between marijuana or Marmite. Hadn't got a clue. Yeah, the times I went to a party and someone passed round a Woodbine, you know. Acapulco Gold, man. But you've got a filter tip. I mean, like... Oh, you couldn't let on you didn't know anything about it. Had to puff away. Oh, I swear blind, the dog was melting, you know. Then you get gate crashed by the flower power people. Right bunch of bozos they were, weren't they? Big belt tent caftans, bits of twig sticking out their ear, you know. Hey, man, I've got this fab spaced out feeling in my head. It was bloody hay fever, that. They all carried a copy of the Sgt. Pepper album round with them. Hey, because if you played the Sgt. Pepper album backwards, there was a message from the devil. We'd be there, 40 of us, trying to get on a Woodbine, listen to the Sgt. Pepper album going backwards, you know. The message comes at the end, it says, you've just knackered up your stylus. It never used to matter, because we used to have those Dansette record players. Remember them orange box things with a bit of vinyl stuck on it? You used to buy them from Woolworths under a big sign saying shitty gramophones. You could put 400 singles on it in one go. You know? To sellotape half a house brick onto the arm, keep it on the record. Woolies still sell them, I think. I haven't been in for a while, you know. They never change, do they, Woolies? Always been the same, you know. Even the assistants. So, they must breed them somewhere special, you know what I mean? I love going up to him and going, excuse me, I've just put some anthrax in the pick and mix. It's not my counter. Someone's nicked me harmonica. Any good Chinese restaurants in Stratford? No. Okay, fine. Next. So I'm into Chinese food a bit. You into Chinese food? Yeah. Yeah. Well, sort of. I don't know, really. Are you? Well, I don't know. Go on, you answer him. I'm not answering him now. Go on, you like Chinese food, or you did? Well, I don't know. Go on. No, I'm not saying anything. I'm from Warwick. I'm not saying anything. No, I'm really into Chinese food. See if you associate with this. Whenever you go into a Chinese restaurant, right, you're always mob-handed for a start, and there's always like about 12 of you going, You hardly ever go in singles or pairs. It's always 12, And you sit down, right, and the waiter comes up, right, and Chinese waiters are always in a hurry, you know. What do you want? Well, I'd like a menu. Oh, bloody menu. And you've got to order straight away, haven't you? I mean, like, they don't walk away and leave you to order. They stand and they hover, don't you? What do you want? I don't know. Anything. Just order anything. 12 of anything. Get him away. And you daren't ask them anything. They're so crotchety, aren't they? Excuse me. Go on, ask him about the special. This special fried rice, is there any chicken in that? Ah, chicken, yeah. Is there any prawn? Prawn, yeah. Prawn, chicken, yeah. Is there any water jet? Water jet, no, yeah. Is there any cement in this? Cement, yeah. So he takes the order, and then he walks away from the table. Now, the very second that he walks away from the table, guaranteed one of your clowns will impersonate a Chinese waiter. As soon as he walks away, as if he's bloody deaf. He gets it every night of his life. He's fed up to the teeth with it. What do you think he does? He walks straight to the kitchen, piddles in the soup. It's your own fault. Dear. Actually, I'm off to Hong Kong later in the year, and there are thousands of Chinese restaurants there. Oh, you've got to give it to them. They don't miss a trick, do they? And it's the second time I'm going. The first time I went, I had a remarkable meal. And because Hong Kong is a remarkable place, there's no two ways about it. It's one of the most crowded places I have ever seen. I mean, you can imagine Oxford Street in London on Christmas Eve. That's Hong Kong, 3 a.m. Sunday morning. No matter what time of day, you just bump into people. Oh, you can't help. Beg your pardon. Sorry, I'm sorry. Did I tread on you? I don't think you tread on. An hour of that, you think, stuff this, you know. You buy an umbrella and sharpen the end, you know, like, out the bloody road. Come on. Up, you know. And when I got there, I was doing a couple of shows, you see, and the promoter was an English fella. And he said to me, is there anything you'd like, in particular, while you're in Hong Kong? Anything we can do for you? And I said, yes, there is, yes. I said, I'm really into Chinese food. I said, I would love an ethnic Chinese meal in an ethnic Chinese restaurant, you know, like the Chinese have. None of this Europeanised gunk we get, but like an ethnic Chinese meal. And he went, that's easy. He said, there's hundreds of them. He said, we'll go tomorrow night. He said, we'll go down to the Kennedy Town area. There's a couple of good ones there. We'll use one of them. I said, great. So the next night came along, and he got me a car to drive in Hong Kong, a hire car, which is easier said than done, I tell you. I mean, it's survival of the fittest in Hong Kong. I mean, there's two speeds, 100 mile an hour and stop. That is it. It's the land of the headless car driver, because every car you see, all you can see is a pair of hands on the steering wheel. And they've got traffic lights, but they just change colour. That's all they do. Nobody takes a blind bit of notice of the damn things, you know, which is really scary when you don't know that, you know, because, like, I got to Hong Kong and I had to get to my hotel from the airport, so I took a taxi, and I didn't know anything about driving in Hong Kong, and I sat in the back of this taxi and he started up. I thought, blimey, he's going a bit here, eh? Oh, this wouldn't take long, eh? Oh, he's leaving this red light a bit late. And you know when you want to say something, but you can't because it gets stuck here with fear. Oh, there's a red light! Stop! There's a red light! Oh, yeah, just got the red light! He just sat there going, "Amash, amash, He's obviously been a waiter in this country getting his own back, you know. So I've got to drive in this. And the geezer that's got in the car, he said, when you drive in Hong Kong, he said, don't think, do it. He said, you haven't got time to think. You live on your instinct here. So I said, oh, right. What he didn't tell me is that if somebody indicates in Hong Kong, it's a con. Because, like, I'm driving in this line of traffic, and they drive the same side of the road as us, and it's a two-way traffic, right? And we're belting along, and I'm right up to the bloke in front. I mean, I'm right up to him, bumper to bumper. I mean, you daren't leave a gap in Hong Kong, 9, 12 inches, something gets in. You know, a rickshaw, you know. So we're belting along, and suddenly the bloke in front of me starts to indicate to turn left. So I'm thinking, quick, I've got to get round him and into the space he's going to leave when he turns left before everybody behind me gets there before me. So I started to overtake him. Good idea. No. Because he's not turning left. He is turning right. And the only way he can stop the oncoming traffic to turn right is to put someone on that side of the road. Smell it, I was sitting in it. So, survived that one. And we get down to the Kennedy Town area of Hong Kong, and it's a very ethnic part of the community, you know, and it's very rough and very ready, but I mean, it's perfectly safe, very nice people. And we're the only Europeans there, and there's 4 of us for this meal. There's me, there's this promoter, there's my manager, and the support act. Actually, you might even remember him, a bloke called Joe Dolce. Yeah, okay. And, well, he had a worldwide hit ages ago. What's the matter, you? Yeah, got no respect. Yeah, it's the right load of crap. Anyway, he'd sing. So I'm getting just a touch uneasy, and I said to the guy, where's the restaurant? He went, hang on. And we turned this corner, and he went, here it is. And I couldn't believe my eyes. This restaurant was in the gutter. They were cooking food in the gutter. And there's about 4 or 5 of these restaurants in this closed-off street cooking food in the gutter. There was these hundreds of baskets of live chickens and ducks and animals and great big rats like rabbits scurrying round everywhere. I could feel the plague coming on. Oh, is this where we're eating? He went, yeah, it's ethnic. Oh, good. So the owner of the restaurant comes bounding over, and he knows this English fella, you see, and this English fella speaks Chinese. Well, when I say that, he speaks one word, which is wiki. And it gets him absolutely everywhere. It's remarkable. He went, oh, wiki, 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 wiki. Oh, da, wiki, 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 wiki. Wiki, 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 wiki. Oh, da, wiki, 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 wiki. Wiki, wiki, wiki. This is Jasper Carrott. This is his manager. This is Joe Dolce. Oh, Joe Dolce. Oh, what the matter, you? Yeah, what the matter. I don't believe this, you know. Anyway, he's very proud of his restaurant, you know. It's got a bit of tarpaulin and a light bulb dangling down and stuff. And he takes us over to this table, this round table with these stools, you see, and we sit down there, and he brings some chopsticks up. I'm about to pick him up, and the bloke said, don't touch him. He says, don't touch him. It's all right, stoop, stoop, stoop. And he'd got this boiling hot water, and he sterilised the chopsticks in the water, saying, you can't be too careful. Well, I'm really looking forward to this, you can imagine, you see. So then Wiki starts to bring the food up, and there's all this mangled cabbage and stuff, you know, that you can choose from. And then he brought the meat, right? 4 trays of raw meat. I didn't recognise any of it. was like a road accident. I hadn't got a clue. I'll just have some boiled cabbage, thank you. That'll do. The bloke said, come on, you're only here once, it's all right, it's all right. I said, have some chicken, you can recognise that. I said, all right, I'll have some chicken, please, some chicken. I said, have you got any fish? Wiki? Wiki. And he dragged me over to this tank of live fish. And he wants me to choose a fish to eat. I don't want to choose a fish to eat. I don't mind when it's dead and it's filleted and the head's missing, but I don't want it waving at me first, you know. Anyway, it was this fish that looked like Bernard Manning, so I said, I'll have him. So Wiki gets his net out and he starts chasing Bernard round the tank. And I mean, Bernard knows what's coming. He's off, you know. Starts hiding under this big rock, you know, and the rest of the fish are safe, so they're watching with interest, you know. Psst, he's under the rock. So Bernard gets into this net and Wiki flicks him out and he lands in the gutter and he bops him on the head with a mallet and sticks two spokes in him and pops him into a furnace. Oh, I'm sorry, Bernard, I didn't know they were going to do that. And I felt really guilty. Well, you would, wouldn't you? You know, like, and they bought the boiled cabbage and I ate that, and then they bought Bernard. I couldn't look him in the eye. The other one had fallen out. Oh, God knows where it was. And then they bought the chicken, right? And it looks like chicken, and it tastes like chicken. And to be fair, it is, and it's pretty good, right? And three of us have ordered chicken, right? And Joe's ordered battered wiki. And God knows what that was, sweet and sour aardvark or something, I ain't got a clue. And this chicken is pretty good, I've got to say that, you know. And after about 10 minutes or so, we've all got big mouthfuls of chicken, a couple of glasses of sake, and we're well away. And I thought, well, I might have been a bit premature here, this is all right. When, out of the corner of my eye, I saw this Chinaman go across to this big basket of live chickens. And I knew something was going to happen. Because all the fish had gone to the bottom end of the tank and were watching, you know. Now, we've all got mouthfuls of chicken, remember? Like, and he gets this chicken out the basket, and in full view of everybody, wrings its neck. And he keeps getting these chickens. Well, when one starts, everybody... The table was a right mess, you can imagine, eh? Oh, yeah, you couldn't tell what you'd eaten or what you were going to eat. You had no chance. And then he gets this one chicken without a word of it. He goes, throws the chicken aside, but hasn't killed the chicken. He's just ripped this chicken's neck. This chicken can't believe it. It's alive. It's free. It's off down the road. The fish go bananas. Oh, the bloody chicken's escaping. What's the matter with it? And the Chinese are there with mallets and knives chasing this chicken down the road. And the chicken... And it's under cars and it's over lorries and there's tarpaulin and feathers and mayhem going on. The chicken gives them the slip, runs all the way back up the road straight under our table. And the Chinese surround the table. They're trying to get this chicken out. We're trying to protect it. And I couldn't believe it. This Chinaman gets this one big bag of corn, starts throwing corn to the chicken to entice it out. As if the chicken could eat corn with a ripped neck. It's had a bloody good go. It had got no chance because the rats came from everywhere and started gobbling up all the corn. I'm into the Ruth stage by this time. There's nothing left, you know. Ruth! 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 Ruth, there's nothing left to come out except the boiled cabbage. Here comes the boiled cabbage! So I'm looking forward to going back in July, you see. I'm an insomniac. Any insomniacs in? Any insomniacs? It's a strange affliction. I mean, I've had insomnia for years. God knows what causes it. I lie awake for hours wondering about that, you know? Insomnia is a solo affliction, right? You must have had insomnia at some stage in your life, right? And you think about this, like, whenever you've had insomnia, no matter how many people are in bed with you at the same time... Oh, you into that? Oh. Ulverston Manor. Okay. No. Yeah. Only one person can have insomnia at the one time in bed. I mean, you just think about it. Whenever you've been bright, wide awake, 4 a.m. in the morning, guaranteed your partner is rock solid out. Isn't that infuriating when you can't get to sleep and they are zedding away? Eh? Shut up! They go through the same damn ritual every single night. They always start off by fly catching. Yeah. Shut up! I'm saying I'm Then they go through that period when they only ever breathe in. Start sucking all the air out of the room. I can't breathe! I'm suffocating! I'm dying! Breathe out! I'm dying! And then you get... Then they start that silly laughing business. Yeah. Oh, stop it, Malcolm. Who's Malcolm? Who's Malcolm? The bread's in the middle of the road. People talk absolute gobbledygook when they're asleep. What do you mean the bread? What's the meaning? The bicycle's shining on my knees. Nothing wakes them, does it? Until you are asleep. Oh, yes, then they hear a mouse in the garden move a pebble. What's that noise? What's that noise? What's that noise? It's burglars, wake up! What's that noise? What's that noise? What's that noise? What's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter? But the main problem with insomnia is that you have all this time to think. You just have oodles and oodles of hours of time just to sit there and think about anything and everything. I mean, the meaning of life and the end of the universe, easy peasy to an insomniac. Oh, I sorted them out years ago, you know. I'm onto obscure tangents now, you know, like if you unscrew your navel, will your bum fall off? And all those imponderable questions of life, like, why do women wear tights? Have you seen what it does to a bank raider's face? Very odd, very odd. And men can be as odd. Men are as strange. Oh, it's no women's prerogative by any means. I mean, all those construction workers, they're odd. All those builders and plasterers, you know, they all wear those special trousers. Yeah, you know which ones I'm on about, eh? They show 3 inches of bum cleavage. I mean, the plumber comes round to do the sink, bends over to do it, 3 inches of bum cleavage staring at you. And you've got to look at it, haven't you? You've got to look at it. It's like a moth to a light bulb. I've got to stare at this bum cleavage. Mary, come and have a look. It's unbelievable. I heard a good question on Radio 4 a while ago for insomniacs. It was this professor, and he said, if a tree falls over in a forest and there's no one there, does it make a sound? And I thought, what a prat. I can think of better questions than that, you know. Why do dogs lick their balls? Because they can. Come on, there's not a bloke in the room that hasn't given it a try. Come on. The secret is to give the dog a bone first, and he lets you. It's simple. Unforgettable. I just called to say you really are sick out there, aren't you? I tell you what is sick, travelling around the country. Every single restaurant I go into these days, there's a tub of toothpicks on the table. What a revolting habit that is. Where the hell do we pick that up from, eh? And these steak bars are the worst. I'm fed up of going into a Bernie and eating my T-bone steak, watching someone who's just eaten his trying to get half of it back out onto the plate. It's not toothpicks, it's dental flossing. Something's happening to our restaurants. You're going down the pan. I mean, fast food was all, but instant food. Why do we have to have instant food? I want my food now. Cram it down, God, I can't wait. It's Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's like reconstituted hush puppy, isn't it? And doner kebab. What meat is that? It's like a bloody great elephant's leg in the window, isn't it? No matter how much meat you cut off, you go back next day and it's grown. It's destroying our traditions. That's why I don't know what it's like around here. There's hardly a fish and chip shop left in Birmingham now. You go into a fish and chip shop, you hang about for about 2 seconds. It's like, come on, what are you doing? Cooking the food? It's in all walks of life, isn't it? I mean, life is such a pace these days, and everybody's got to get there yesterday, and like the way people drive, they have no patience whatsoever. Beep, 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 beep! Come on! You can get a tank through that gap! Beep, 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 beep! Oh, don't bother to indicate, pal, I'm clairvoyant! Beep, 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 beep. Where's your white stick, pal? Where's your white stick? Strap your Labrador dog to the roof. He'll tell you what's coming. It's lethal out on the road. It's lethal. The latest curse is boy racists. Hey, someone out there is breeding boy racists. Come on, own up. Do something. Have a vasectomy. I don't know. Just do something. They've been to see, blurred adverts going by at 300 mile an hour at Silverstone, so they've got to do the same. So what do? They come home and they buy a Ford Anglia. Paint red stripes up the side. Get rid of the steering wheel and replace it with a leather-bound shirt button. They get rid of the front wheels and put 2 pram wheels on. Get rid of the back wheels, put 2 tractor wheels on. And they drive it like this. First time they brake, smash the face to pieces, I don't know. They seem to think by having some 5,000 brake horsepower twin carburettor Mustang gives them a great sexual technique. What it actually means is they're dickheads. Bloody prized bloody dickheads, aren't they? It's what they drive like they make love, you know. Ram the key in the ignition, rev it on, shoot off at 200 mile an hour, run out of petrol before the woman's done a seatbelt up. And there's some dickhead cars on the road, aren't there? I mean, come on, I can't believe what people buy these days. When all the slick stuff you can buy. Do you know people still buy that French thing? That 2CV? Like an upturned corrugated pram on wheels. Only the French could design a car like that and sell it to us. Who buys them? I tell you who buys them. 2CVs. That's... vegetarians. That's who buy 2CVs. Vegetarians. Every time you see a 2CV, there's about 90 vegetarians in the damn thing. Munching lentil burgers and God knows what. Shoving muesli down the gobs like there's no tomorrow. Damn stuff that is. It's like designer vomit, isn't it? And why do they buy 2CVs? Because it doesn't go fast enough to kill anything. If it hit anything head on like a moth, the car would be a complete write-off, wouldn't it? They remind me of bubble cars in the 60s. I mean, it's the same mentality. You had to be a dickhead to buy one of them. Do you remember bubble cars? They had no reverse gear, and you got out of them by opening the entire front of the car. The amount of bubble car owners that drove home into the garages right up to the front wall. More bubble car owners died in the garages than out on the road, you know. Then there's the Reliant Robin three-wheeler. Yeah! Anything the French can do, we can do better, that's right. Do you know, I found out the other day they actually make Reliant Robin three-wheelers brand new. The ambition of every Reliant Robin owner is to get a speeding ticket. Prove that you can go that fast, you know. That's why they're always looking for speed traps at the bottom of steep hills, so they can get some speed up. You can see them trying to slipstream a moped, you know. There's always a tailback of milk floats trying to get by, you know. And to impress the copper on duty, as they pass him at the bottom of the hill, they wind the window down. And as they go by, they go, round! The copper just watches them, you know. I've got the number, Sarge. The chassis number. Wonderful cars. This leads sneakily onto this one. You're going to groan when I announce this one now. You watch. This is a hobby of mine. And actually, I just realised that this year is the 21st anniversary of this hobby. For 21 years, I have been collecting motor insurance claim form statements. I think I knew you'd moan, oh, bloody hell. I'd rather live in Warwick than listen to this. Yeah. I found some more in Australia. That's what I'm actually getting around to. Okay. Very quickly, for those of you who haven't the faintest idea what's going on here, if you drive round in your cars and on bikes, you have accidents. And when you have an accident, your insurance company sends you a claim form, and it's a pretty standard claim form, and lots of stupid questions, you know, like, what's your name and where do you live? They've posted you the damn form, surely they know this. And on the back is a big empty space, and it says at the top, give in your own words a description of how the accident occurred. This is where you get your chance to write your version down, right? Probably totally different from everybody else's. What I'll do first is I'll do some British ones to give you the idea of how they go, okay? And people ask me whether I've made these up myself, and honestly I haven't. These are genuinely what people have written on their claim forms when they've had an accident and sent into these insurance offices around the British Isles. Things like, leaving home for work, I drove out of my drive straight into a bus. The bus was 5 minutes early. I bumped into a lamppost which was obscured by human beings. Coming home, I drove into the wrong house and collided with a tree I haven't got. The accident was caused by me waving to the man I hit last week. I knocked over a man. He admitted it was his fault, had he'd been knocked over before. Now, I've got hundreds of those. And then I was in Australia, and I was in Melbourne, and I was reading the local paper, the Melbourne Age, and there was this article in the paper, and much to my amazement and sheer delight, I realised that they do exactly the same things in Australia as we do. Only much better. These are genuine Australian motor insurance claim form statements. The pedestrian had no idea which direction to run, so I ran over him. The bloke was all over the road. I had to swerve a number of times before I hit him. I told the police I was not injured, but on removing my hat, I found I had a fractured skull. I had been driving for 40 years when I fell asleep at the wheel. And I'll leave you tonight, if I may, with my all-time favourite. I saw a slow-moving, sad-faced old gentleman as he bounced off the bonnet of my car. Thank you, Stratford. Good night.
Welcome to Wembley Stadium, and let's hear it from the biggest studio audience in television history, 100,000 people.